8 p.m. our time, 6 your time, and we're going to be going over and doing a lot of good things. But speaking of a good thing, it's very seldom that a person gets to talk to admire and listen to a legend. But this man is a legend among legends. I've listened to him, I've watched him, I take notes every time I see his face. I even take notes from his picture.
I didn't know that.
Dr. Phil Nelson. Welcome back, sir.
Kenneth, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You know, I tell you, I look at you and I see all the things you've accomplished, and you're still a young man.
I would like to consider myself to be, but
you are. I mean,
time really wears on the body and tells you otherwise.
Here we go.
I'm in denial.
Here we go. Please, you're everywhere. Before we get to the menu, we haven't talked in a while. Share with us some of the things that's been happening with you lately.
Well, last time we talked, and let me just kind of go back a little bit. We were talking about the release of my book.
Yes.
In the eye of the storm, the quiet storm, peace be still. It has been on pause. And the reason why it's been put on pause is because so many things, like you said, has been happening.
Right.
And one thing I found out in this world, when you are trying to walk and stay in line with God's promise and what he puts in front of you, sometimes you just have to step back.
Right.
When you step back and he sends you in a different direction, you don't ask questions. You may not understand what it's all about.
Right.
When you're walking and you've already had proof on that journey that if you obey, he'll take you to some place that could be higher and more beneficial. So with that being said, the book is on pause because of everything else that he's put in front of my path. So there's no definite date on when the book is going to be released, but believe me, it's going to be released because there's been other chapters added to that book. So I just want to put that in before we even get started, so that the book is coming. And
well, the delay is not a denial. What they say, a delay is not a denial.
Oh, that's right. Delay does not be denied. It just means that it is coming. Just keep going, doing what you're doing. Just keep adding to what I'm putting in front of you. It's going to probably be even more greater than I can probably anticipate. But I'm still in the midst of writing, and it looks good, but there's going to be more added to it. So I just want to put that out there before we get started.
Okay. What else been going on? Because I follow you, so I know. So
I know. And see, I just
everywhere. I mean, you are everywhere.
Well, I've been around.
You out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been around.
I want to be just like you.
Well, don't go in debt first before you be like me.
Go ahead.
Look, I had to get rid of all of that and start over again. But
that's okay.
We all go through,
Yes, we do. Been there, done that.
Yeah, there you go. So you understand. But yeah, I've been blessed to be able to go to different states and travel last year to go around to different places and see how they act and respond in different states to radio broadcasting, because that's my specialty. I kind of had a feeling that I wanted to do something more than what I did on the air. For a lot of the people, they may be familiar with me, but for those that are not, I'm a 40-year veteran in radio. I did 20 years in Hampton Roads hosting the original Quiet Storm.
Right.
And the other spinoff shows that they gave me, Pillow Talk and also Night Moods. But I'm the longest running Quiet Storm host in Hampton Roads. And obviously I must have did something right. I left a legacy, and it's still going. It's on Facebook. And I'd like to thank my administrators for helping me keep that going. And I always wanted to be a part of something great, and it wasn't a selfish move, because it's something that I also wanted to bring my colleagues into, because I understand the fact of radio broadcasting, how they feel, how they care about the shows, the pride and the preparation that goes into it. But only we can actually understand what that means, because the powers that be, we're hired to do a job. That's pretty much it. We're hired to do a job, and that's pretty much it. But in my travels, I was able to see how different states acknowledged their radio broadcasters and announcers. And I said, well, we need to do that at home. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, when I left Hampton Roads in 2004 and came to Washington, where I am now, I work in Washington and I live in Maryland, but my heart is in Hampton Roads, Virginia, because that's where I was born and raised. And that's where my career started. But there's a whole line of history there that has never been touched. It's a lot of broadcasters that came along that has never been mentioned or have been forgotten, but is a part of our history to where we have gotten today.
Right.
So I'm saying to myself, I said, now, it may have been attempted, but I want to take the opportunity to kind of breathe some life into this thing, but I don't know how to do this. I can't do it by myself. This is the part of the trusting, part of the just going in that direction where God says that he wants you to go, and don't ask the questions, just go,
Right.
And we've been pretty much successful in starting the organization, which is the Hampton Roads Black Radio Announcers Association,
right,
the Virginia chapter. And we've had a few events, and we did not get a chance to see you at the event. But
I was going. Oh, hey, look, I was moving. My roommate got sick. Had to put her in the hospital about 4 times. So I was busy.
I know.
God is good. We all good now. Don't move, okay?
Right. Well, look. We keep you in prayer, and we keep you in mind because you're part of the history.
That's I'm part of the little history. Whoa. Now, I've been a musician, just musician for 35 years. Okay, but you guys, please, I'm just an embryo with people like you and Chesterby and of course, we all came up with, WRAP and all that good stuff, the Soul Ranger. But I'm just saying, no, my name don't even belong next to you guys.
Well, you know what? Let me put it to you like this, Kenny. See, right now you're doing internet radio, which is part of the new radio, the new way that people listen. Now, right now on the national level, it's not recognized because it's a new form of broadcasting. But podcasting and internet radio will eventually be a category. So you are part of that category now as we continue on. And I'll talk about that a little bit more, because it's all about what I'm doing is legacy. This is not a fly-by-night thing. This is not something I'm trying to do for now. This is something for as long as I'm here, and even when I'm gone, even when all the people that you're talking about are gone, this is going to live on. And the people behind me are going to keep the association going, because I won't be chairman all the time. I will always be founder, but I won't always be chairman and president. I will be going. But the legacy, that's what I'm talking about, the legacy. But before I even go any further, I just want to congratulate you for being a part of the Presidential Volunteer Lifetime Achievement Awards Court.
Thank you. For
23. I don't know if anybody has actually said that to you. I know I haven't had a chance to, but I wanted to make sure.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm a history guy anyway. And we as a society, though we have access to so much now, we don't know history, period. You ask the average person just stuff that you and I learned in high school. Couldn't tell you. And for you to do this, I believe is very, very important. How can you know where you're going if you don't know where you've been?
Right.
And how is that coming anyway? How is it going to? How are you doing it with those who have gone on? Do you talk to their peers, the family? How are you doing that?
Well, we're making sure that we are honoring those that have gone on. They're part of the Scroll of Fame that we're doing. It's called the Scroll and Walk of Fame. Okay. And when that display comes out, it's going to be posted. I'm going to talk about that in just a few minutes. The ones that have come along and gone on, we have them already in history. Now, there's a few that we have been in communication with. The late Leroy Little, we've been in contact with his family, and we have acknowledged him on the national level because he was part of the National Black Radio Hall of Fame. And one of the others, a dear friend of mine that, and this kind of broke my heart a little bit. Some people may be familiar with the voice of Dee Shannon.
Yes.
That was on 103 back in the day. She was also
Right.
the voice of Metro Traffic and Studio Center. Had a great voice. She passed right when I was starting this venture. And we had been friends. I coined her as actually the one that actually opened the door for me to get into 103 back in 1984. Because it all started from a conversation on the telephone. And I just basically asked, do they have any openings over there? That sort of thing. And she knew me from doing street parties and that sort of thing. Right. That's where I came from, the streets as a radio DJ. And she said, sure. Why don't you just come on over or call on the program director and see. So I made a few calls, and that's all it took. And then I was in the door overnights, just monitoring stuff at the time, the Master Mix Dance Party. But she was responsible for that. But she never got a chance to hear me say, Dee, we got a surprise for you. We will honor you in this new organization that I'm starting. And you're the first to know. So that kind of broke my heart. But those are the only two families that we've been in contact with at this point. As we go on, there will be more acknowledgments, especially on the Scroll of Fame, where we have Bobby J, who one of the main voices in the early 70s, late 60s, also master storyteller, King Hot Dog. We also have Leola Dyson's family, who came along earlier.
I know her family is around.
Yeah, her family is around. And many more that played a major role. Plus, I need to talk to Chester B. Chester, if you're listening right now, you told me about there's one older gentleman that's still alive. I don't know, you say he may be in his late 80s or 90s. I need his name so we can put him on the Scroll of Fame. So I just thought about that. But you were talking about some of the greats that came before me that I listened to as a teenager, Soul Ranger, H.J. Ellison, people like that. It's going to be on the Hall of Fame. So these are the
best. I did get to meet a lot of these people. Chester B, his studio was right next to when I was at PCE.
And we can't forget
each other,
And
we can't have that for me. That I just to say I know Chester B. I mean, it's like, hey, I'm living now. I mean, I appreciate the people that I grew up with. What you are. See, you guys, let me tell you something. The world was different then. I mean, we have so many choices now. We've got 1,000 channels. We've got, the PlayStation and the Xbox and all of this stuff. But back in the day, you were like on a Sunday now, you're talking about, and there's no football. I mean, what? I mean, people they home in the kitchen, we got radio on. That's it.
But see, let me just piggyback back on that, Kenny. And I just want to say this. I say it all the time when people start talking about what radio used to be. Radio used to be a lifestyle.
Right.
It was a part of our lives. This is how we lived. We couldn't wait to listen to our favorite shows. We had to listen to find out what that song was played the day before or the night before. We didn't have Shazam or SoundHound. Things like that you can just hold up to the radio and boom, there it is. It tells you the name of the song. But most of all, nighttime radio was king. And at nighttime radio, you had the love, dance, or romance format. You had the Quiet Storm out of New York. You had the Quiet Storm in Washington, D.C., where it all began. And then it came down to Hampton Roads, and that sort of thing. It spread across the nation. And that was a show that people just gathered around the radio to listen to at night for one thing or another. If they were traveling, if they were in school, if they just wanted to cool out at night, or they had a special somebody they were just walking with. I mean, it was mood. It was real, true mood. I got calls from all over the country when I was doing that show. And it was so amazing just to be able to touch people and listen to what they were doing and the gratification that came along with it. We don't have that anymore, and the numbers and the ratings were off the charts back in the day. The reason
Mhm.
why is because, like you said earlier, we didn't have that many outlets to get our music. So
Right.
it's spread out. We can make our own formats now. You know,
Right.
we have internet radio.
Mhm.
We have Spotify. We got all kinds of different outlets. So therefore, the listeners are spread everywhere. They can get their sources from anywhere. So therefore, it's not a lifestyle anymore. You know, it's like, you know, when I get a chance, I listen to radio. You know, for the most part, for information. That's
Mhm.
what it's all about, because you can honestly put together your own format. But yeah, we came from a place where radio was king,
Right.
where it was a lifestyle, and now it's time to kind of like put that in history as
Yeah.
far as Hampton Roads is concerned. I mean, I worked in DC, did the Quiet Storm, the original Quiet Storm in DC,
Mhm.
which is a blessing for me because that's where it started. So I have 20 years here in DC, 20 years in Washington, in Hampton Roads, but my heart is in Hampton Roads where it started.
Mhm.
That's where I want to uh, cement the legacy of all the guys, Calvin Shakespeare, Maurice Ward. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about these names.
Calvin Shakespeare. Now, Calvin Shakespeare is going to be on this show next week.
Next week, Calvin's going to be
Yeah.
on. Okay.
Yeah. He's going to be on it.
Yeah, these are all the guys, man, that
Mhm.
made Hampton Roads great in the
Right.
70s. And Calvin Shakespeare did so much. You
Mhm.
know, in video, he was one of the first to do the first dance show on TV, that sort of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got a lot of stuff, man, that needs to come out. And my whole purpose here, like I said, is legacy. And we're going to bring forth this legacy. And I just want to also put this out here right now while I'm thinking about it. I want to thank Dr. Kelly, Dr. Glenda Maury Kelly, for
Yeah.
extensive research, her expertise, and her just know-how as an executive director to be able to put all this stuff together in the way that she does, and to be able to give it to me in a format where I can put it out to everybody else. We work together very well as a team. I just want to say that this thing couldn't really move forward without her extreme expertise and her know-how. So I just want to say that. And I'm blessed to have her in the camp. And we're going to continue doing what we do to please the people of Hampton Roads, because they listen to all of us. You know, a lot of them don't know us personally, but they will get a chance to. They'll be able to see us. They'll be able to touch us. They'll be able to reminisce from back in the day. You know, we have things on the table right now that I can't talk about.
Okay.
But there's a lot of plans going on in the background right now. So we're just kind of tiptoeing our way with
Can I get the exclusive? Can I get the exclusive before CNN or anybody else?
Oh yeah, well, you never know. See, you never know what we're doing, Kenny. You see
Yeah,
what I'm
well, I mean,
saying?
can I get the exclusive?
You try to get the exclusive first. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you, because see, you can run this back later on when things take off and say, "I had it first."
Well, see, come on now. I'm media. I come out, you know, I want the scoop. I mean, that's just the way it is.
That's all good, man.
Okay, you know, come on now. You've been on the other end of this. Now,
right, I got you.
Where do you want this to go? What do you want the legacy to? How do you want the legacy to influence the future?
Well, we've already been accepted on the national level at the National Black Radio Hall of Fame. So we're not just Hampton Roads chapter, we're Virginia chapter, but we also Hampton part of the National Black Radio Hall of Fame Virginia chapter. So nationally we'll be recognized, because right now we're in the process of building the website and getting everything up on the national side of things. What I want this to do is what I kind of touched base on earlier, is that we leave something for people to come back to see what we did, to be examples, to let people know that, hey, that we are people that cared about what we did in the media, for young people to use as positive examples in the media. You know, let them be able to see it, because there's nothing more powerful than pictures, you know, pictures and words. And we don't have anything like that. And it's not a fly-by-night thing. You know, when you put something, you etch it in stone, and they can go and see it at any time, and then they're able to talk about it. You know, I'm looking forward, well, maybe one day, to have a special day. Now, I'm really forward thinking now, Kenny. Okay, when I say that, have a day designated for this, you know, so that it can be recognized on that day every year. That's the probably where I really wanted to go, almost like a holiday.
Right.
You know? But like I said, that's really forward thinking right now. That's just me just brainstorming right now. But to overall answer the question, just be a positive beacon of light for what we do. Make sure the people that are still living, they can get their flowers while they're still alive. Acknowledge the ones that have gone before us, and make sure that people know what their impact is. And for the young ones that are coming up behind us, that they have a place. You may not get paid a whole bunch of money, in a lot of cases, it's like that. But we care about you. We care about how you care about your show, your implementation, your style, your craft, because we know that you put a lot behind what you do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it. Right. So we have to depend on organizations and associations to prop us up, put us up like that, because major businesses are not going to do it. Like I said earlier, with major businesses, you work for a company, you're there to do a job.
Right.
And that's it. That's the only way you look at it, Other than that, you are a public servant. Who are you serving? You're serving the public. So when you get these numbers and these ratings and they're off the Richter scale, you have to think about that. Or if people talking about you, coming to your events, you have to think about that. There's a reason why they're doing that, because there's something about you and your show that they like. So what you do in the long run, you appeal to those angels, right? Them lift you up, and then you put it out there for them. They will carry you as long as you live and even beyond, as long as you leave them something to carry you by.
So when you, let's talk about radio for a minute. Now, when the Howard Sterns came along on radio, how did you feel about that? Was it a step forward or a step backward in radio?
Well, shock radio is something totally different.
Yes.
From, music intensified.
I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is that I'm from the old school.
Okay.
So I believe in a certain etiquette when it comes to radio. I also understand what freedom of speech is all about. It's not something that I would do, but obviously it was a format that the market needed, and he was able to monopolize. And there's other shock jocks out there that were able to monopolize, and there was a format for it. There was an opening for it, mostly male, white men, 18 to 34. That's what Howard Stern's show was pretty much catering to. But, it took him to different places, different heights. And, I have to give him props for being able to find a niche in the market to do what he does. I mean, that's his forte. But like I said, that's not a format that I would do. But people can do what they want if they see an opening, and I wish them well with it. So that's just radio as a whole. You have different formats, different ways that people want to express themselves. So let them have at it. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, I see an opening for radio, and the reason is that as far as content is concerned, it's 1,000 stations out there. But as far as the content, good content, it's been diluted as it used to be, and it's not just radio; it's the movies. I mean, they're losing millions. I mean, and it's not because, hey, I can watch it on TV. It's because the stuff just isn't good. And I'm saying, good radio. Do you think that what was done in the day would work now if it was a little bit updated? Would the Quiet Storm work well now?
Well, the Quiet Storm, we still have one here in Washington. Like I said, WHUR is the home of the original Quiet Storm. That's not going anywhere. And that nighttime show is always going to do well wherever it is, but in a today's fashion, in a today's style.
Because the Quiet Storm was before Oprah, it was before Donahue, it was before all of that.
Right, it was.
Yeah. And it was just brought to television.
But the thing about formatics, a lot of people don't understand formatics when it comes to programming and music. You know, if you are 54 years old, which is really the top end or the back end of the adult audience, once you get out of 54, then you're considered old. You know what I'm saying? If from a radio perspective,
right?
You know, so that's how the music trends. So that's why when you listen to a show like The Quiet Storm, or you listen to a adult radio station, right now the 90s is as far as they go back.
That's true.
You follow. You'll never hear 70s or 80s unless you're listening to an oldie radio station because it's out of the demo. When you talk about jocks like myself that did 20 years in Hampton Roads, but also did 10 plus up here in DC. I'm outside of the 54 demographic. They may want to have somebody else come in to meet the new 25, 54. You know, so that's just how it goes, how it works. But if you do it within taste, you can bring back a nighttime show like that. And I would use Hampton Roads as an example. Right now, they don't have a Quiet Storm. You know, Powers B have, just completely demolished that show, which I'm a little bit upset about. But, they've done that. I guess they didn't feel a need for it, which is crazy. But that sets up the morning numbers. That sets up the morning numbers to have a hot morning show and have high sales. But you'll never get the numbers that you had back when I was doing it because, as we talked about before, people have too many different options to get the music now. So you won't get that high cume, but you will get good listenership. But you can always get back to good television. You can get back to good radio. But the point of the matter is what is selling. The bottom line is money, unfortunately. They have to go where the dollars go. What sells in 2022, 23, 24? That's what they want. So if that particular format, that's a little bit, I guess you could say, has taste, a little bit of romance to it. If it's not selling, then they're going to go with the grogginess and, the lack of, the lack of anticipation, just straightforwardness. And, what we used to call, used to be taboo on the radio. It's okay now. But the reason why they do it is because it sells. So that's just the nature of the beast.
Nature of the beast. So I got to wrap it up, but the only reason I got to wrap it up because Irma and the grandma have been calling me with requests, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it is. You got people listening.
But we play it all. I mean, as far as gospel, we play reggae to James Cleveland to Tasha Cobbs. So we do it all. The way you all used to do it.
Right, I got you. Because see, we used to have gospel on one, at a certain point in time. Then you had the mix. Then you had the storm at night. But now you got different stations to break it down and do different things. Yeah.
Oh yeah. First time I heard Luther was on the Quiet Storm.
Oh yeah.
Y'all would play because I was not at home around about 1:30 in the morning. That's when you would hear it.
Yeah,
so
we love it.
I was listening. So what if someone wants to contact you? How can they do so?
Well, it depends on what they want to contact me for. I'll put two methods.
Which takes me to my next question. They say, okay, like a person who's in college and they are pursuing radio and they're majoring like in communications. Could they come to the organization for advice on how to do that? Would you help steer the up and coming in the right direction so they may not make the mistakes that were made in the past?
Sure. Now, what they can do, they can go to my website, which is nelsonmediainvestments.com. Pretty much my business is set up for voiceovers and commercials, that sort of thing. But you can go to the contact page and put in your email address and tell me the nature of your inquiry. And I'll get back to you like that. But please be patient with me because I have a business to run. I also run
Yeah.
organization, and I work in Washington too. So, I'm kind of like spreading myself thin, but they can also reach me by that. That's the best way to do it, by email, at the website, or phil@nelsonmediainvestments.com. That's the direct email address. But I like for people to go to the website so you can actually see what I'm doing. You never know, you might have a need for something for a special event,
Right.
that sort of thing. So yeah, you can go to nelsonmediainvestments.com, the website, go to the contact page, or you can contact me directly at phil@nelsonmediainvestments.com. That's my email address.
Well, I know one question that they asked me, and I'm asking you, because you would know better than I would. How do you get into business? How do you get started?
Well, it could be different today, but I think the methodology may be the same. I haven't applied for a job in years, so I wouldn't know. But I think the best way to do that is make sure you set yourself up at least a 2 to 3 minute demo. You don't want to make it too long, because you don't want to bore the programmer that's listening to it. They basically just want to hear your best breaks. That's all they want to hear. I would say no longer than 3 minutes long. Reading some weather, doing a break into a commercial, coming out of a commercial, reading a PSA liner, something like that, and have a nice resume to go along with it, and then submit it to your local radio station. And I think that's your best bet. Make sure you have MP3. That's the method that they're taking today. MP3 makes it a lot easier. MP3 and a PDF of your resume. Not like back in the day when I had to submit stuff, you had to do a CD. I was doing custom CDs with the print on the CD to make it look all pretty, and had this nice resume that I did that you put in the mail. But see, they make it easy now. If you put it together like that, you have some good breaks. You may have a good possibility of getting a phone call. So that's the first thing I would tell you to do. After you get some response, and then that's another conversation, to be had. But before we wrap up, I just want to say a few more things.
Sure, go ahead. Take your time.
Because I know we went on. I mean, we just had a great conversation about radio and things of that nature. But I just want to bring some points of what we were doing and what we have coming up as an association. I'm trying to go through my notes now. Now, I think I mentioned the fact that we are building a website that we have up and coming that people will be able to get a chance to go to. That's coming up. Also, what we did on April 20th, that we set up the jocks for the induction for the gold jackets. That was a dream come true. That was the first induction. The mayor of Norfolk, Kenny Anderson, was an honorary member. Also, our Wall of Scroll of Fame is coming along. It's real impressive. We're collaborating with some major giants in Hampton Roads. And August of 24, I want you to remember that date, August of 2024. That's the date of the exhibit, which will be announced in mid-June coming up, on where it's going to be. And what we're going to do in August, we're going to bestow honor on 35 more people in the radio industry with the gold jacket with the emblem that says National Black Radio Hall of Fame, Virginia chapter. So we are still going through the list. If you're not chosen to be in a particular group, don't fret. We have everything under control. We can't induct everybody at the same time. Of course not. They have to understand, but believe it or not, we've had some people that were, kind of worried. Yeah, and we had to rest assured that you have not been forgotten. There's a lot of research that's going into this, and we have to break it down, in groups. So as long as you know that you've been a part of radio history, you will not be forgotten, because the whole point of contingency when I started this, and when I stood on that stage in Virginia Beach at that library, I said, as long as you bless the microphone, you open up that microphone, you have something to do with Hampton Roads history. Right. You may not be in the Hall of Fame, but you will be acknowledged. As long as you continue to work and you contribute to the history of Hampton Roads, it will come. So you just have to exercise some patience with that. Plus, we have a membership drive that's going right now. The details about that is coming up. And we also have the graduation ceremony, which is coming up August 24th at the Clarence Cuffey Community Center from 12 noon until 4. And we're working to bestow honor upon radio jocks and the youth of Hampton Roads. So we're getting into the community on that when we get into the youth, because some of the upcoming, like you were saying earlier, some of the upcoming young folks that have a love for broadcasting too. So it's a lot of things that's going on, man. And we just appreciate all of the input from our members, people on the outside that support us. Only thing I can say, wrapping this up, is that just keep an eye on the Hampton Roads Black Radio Announcers Association, because we are in the beginning. We're making strides, and we're doing some big things in the background. It is coming. Trust me.
Well, I already got those flyers that you were talking about. I already have them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been announcing it
on
my live show. So I got you.
Oh yeah, please do. Let everybody know.
Don't worry about it. I got you.
Because they're going to be able to be up close and personal with us and be able to join in with what's going on. Exactly. A lot of people may not understand. A lot of work goes into this. A lot of work goes into this, and it's time consuming. People have jobs, but we are dedicated. Glenda, Dr. Kelly, and myself are very dedicated to this cause. And we're going to get this thing rolling even more so than what you're seeing now. We're just saying now is the time to jump on the bandwagon. We have a lot of our fellow announcers and people that are just sitting back watching. I can understand that, watching what's going on, but now is the time to get into the organization, become a member, full-fledged member, because this is where you want to be, not when everything starts to pop in. You want to be in right before it starts to pop. So
you know how it is.
Appreciate you regardless. We're going to appreciate you and love you anyway. But I want you to be a part of the legacy, be part of the history. Don't be shy. Don't be scared. Don't be scared of the situation, because it's something that we're dedicated to, and we love everybody that's a part of Hampton Roads, and we want you to be acknowledged, and we want you to be lifted up, and we want you to be proud of something that you're a part of.
I thank you. You said that and do that so eloquently. Like I said, I'm writing as I'm talking to you, notes and stuff about all of it. Your hair, your eyebrows, and all that kind of stuff. So
I guess I'm in HD, so I guess you can see all of it. Trying to make sure I did look kind of decent,
But these programs haven't been in radio. These programs, like this stream thing, makes it so much easier.
Exactly.
To do the split screens and the editing. You got to learn it.
Oh yeah.
But I appreciate that, because I know what it is to sit there behind the microphone in the studio,
right, with
cassettes, with CDs.
You remember those very well.
Yeah, yes. Donna L. Easton still got that stuff.
Oh wow,
got it in a drawer. That's my man, though. But
I still wait a minute. I still got mine too. Okay. I still, if I can swing this camera around in this room, you'll see a lot of stuff. There's a lot of history in this room, records, tapes, but you can't see my server now. That's where the music is, on the server.
Oh, really?
That's where, but see, everything, the albums and the CDs, that's nostalgia. That's just for physical presence, just to remind me of where I came from. That's like my whole career is in this room, from the time I was a street DJ back in the 70s. My albums are in a case over here. But I mean, all that stuff, that stuff means a lot. And some of those albums and things, young people are playing them now because they understand the quality of the vinyl is different from
yes, it is. Well, you can go buy a record player now.
Yeah, USB. You can get a USB record player, but you can also get 1200s. Those are the 10 turntables.
With a turntable. Yeah. I mean, you can go to Walmart and get one now.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
sure.
What it say? As much as things change, they stay the same.
They stay the same. Oh, they come back around, one or the other.
Now I gotta ask a couple of questions that everybody will want to know.
Okay.
Your favorite male artist?
Now that's kind of hard to ask a radio announcer.
I know that.
Playing.
I know that.
Like that for years and years.
I mean, hey, you're in the hot seat right now.
I see.
Yeah.
If I had to say,
You have to say.
and and I have to say, since I'm put on the spot right now,
Yes, I did.
I won't say favorite singer. I'll say my favorite groups
Mm.
that kind of mirror who I am as a person.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing about it is that the blessed thing about me doing the Quiet Storm,
Mm-hmm.
it was an extension of my personality because I'm a laid back guy anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And
Cool.
I'm
You,
kind of,
you know
laid
that picture of you standing there at the end of the stairway there.
Which one was that?
You know the one that I've been using. You know you got your hands out. You just came from something big time like you always do. You smooth. Didn't need to call you the smooth operator. You know. Yeah, I know. Smooth. When you get in your 80s, you're gonna still be smooth.
I hope so.
I know guys
Look,
smooth like that in their 80s.
Look, Kenny, I'm still trying to hold on to my hair. If I'm 80 years old and got, white top, man, I'm good. I mean, I'll be like for real. Like, yeah, I'll be pushing it up for real. But back to that question.
Yes, the question.
Yeah. I would say The Whispers.
Really?
Barry White.
Okay.
Isaac Hayes.
Uh-huh.
And Luther Vandross.
Okay.
That describes me. Those are my favorites. And really, The Whispers, because I crowned them, and this is not something I told them, this is just something that I would say on the air.
Mm-hmm.
I crowned them the ambassadors of love, dance, and romance.
Okay.
And the reason why is because of the lyrics. They specialized in romancing the ladies
right.
with the lyrics.
Okay.
And I always wanted to understand what that was about. I said, God, this is beautiful. It's nothing but poetry, but it's sung poetry.
Right.
So I always migrated toward, we always had groups like that, the Stylistics and the Isley Brothers.
Right.
We had groups that did lyrics,
right.
That were catered toward romance and relationships, whether they were good or bad, but the Whispers and Barry White, they just had their own separate way of doing it that really intrigued me. So I would say those two, and of course, Luther Vandross, great singer.
If you can only see one artist, who would you see?
It's always one. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
If you could only go see one artist, who would you see?
If I could just go see one artist,
yes, one. Well, let's keep it male right now.
One male artist.
One male artist. Who would you see?
Living or deceased?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
No. If you had a time machine, you go see whoever you want. Who would you go see?
In this particular time in my life, I would want to see Luther in concert again.
Okay.
I would like to see.
I saw him in concert.
Yeah, every time he's come, I've been in concert. I've seen he does a remarkable show.
Yeah.
And I would like to see Earth, Wind, and Fire, the full band with Maurice.
Right. Maurice. Right. Female.
Gladys Knight. You see how quick I spit that out?
Who?
Gladys Knight.
Now I
love.
I've always had a thing for Gladys Knight, so it would be biased if I say Gladys Knight.
I've always loved Gladys Knight.
I've always had a thing for Gladys Knight. I ain't gonna lie.
I was a Gladys Knight fanatic, and I just still appreciate her. I appreciate her sound. I appreciate her talent. I just love Gladys.
Okay.
I love Patti LaBelle too, but Gladys Knight does it for me.
Okay.
Does it for me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. See, people want to believe it or not. People, when we talk, we want to know. They talk about that, and they want to know because people see you as like a connoisseur,
right?
Of music, and like I said, who do you think has had the greatest influence on music?
Wow, the greatest influence on music?
Yes.
That's so wide.
I know.
That's now if you're talking about record sales, I mean that's
record sales. Because see, when I say influence, I mean, it
Well, I mean,
you got songs that created.
you have different. It
Yeah,
depends.
yeah.
I can't say from my perspective because it's a different day and time. If you're talking today's time, you're looking
No,
at
not today's time.
not
I'm
today's
talking
time.
about your,
From our time.
right.
From our time. Michael Jackson.
Okay. Okay.
Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Michael Jackson influenced a generation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who else that I was saying? I'm trying to put it. Prince influenced a generation.
Right. I want to add, how about the music of Marvin Gaye?
Marvin Gaye,
Yeah.
which came before.
His
songs influenced a generation because Marvin started in the 60s.
Right.
He even had some stuff in the 50s where he did Cole Porter. See, now you're getting ready to get me deep into all this stuff, because I got all this stuff in my library over here. And, Marvin Gaye is from up here in DC. Right. So, I'm very much fully aware of his history and, what he's done musically. A lot of people did not know that he did stuff in the early 60s and late 50s, but his influence started there all the way until the time that he departed. But yeah, he has a different type of legacy than a Michael Jackson, but he did influence a lifetime of people.
He reflected the 60s.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Mercy Mercy Me,
Inner City Blues.
What's Going On? I mean,
Inner City Blues.
I put him up there with a lot of the Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Right.
And with those people who did songs, at Woodstock about the war and all that kind of stuff. And
right.
I don't think he really gets enough credit. They really they put him with romantic stuff, but he really was an activist in his music. And even if you really listen to the words, I mean, my goodness, it's this is me. But
because see, you're getting ready to start another hour here.
Oh yeah, I know. Here we go. I'm ready to go.
You start talking about influence.
You're throwing stuff at me now.
Look, we can get into some Gil Scott Heron, talking about influencing.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you this too. Now, you mentioned Cole Porter. I'm a Cole Porter fan. My favorite song is Night and Day.
Oh, okay. Now, see, we talk about a whole different show now, Kenny.
I was brought up on that. I was raised by old people. I was brought up on that genre.
Right, I got you. I understand. Anyway, that was some good music back then. That was some good music. I have a whole section of Cole Porter music jazz up here on this left side over here. So they're all albums. But yeah, I mean, if I got to go into it, I can go into it. I mean,
we'll
I know.
Talk again. We'll talk again.
There we go. We sure will.
And believe it or not, I'm telling you, because I've been on the other end listening. People like this type of talk because they relate to it. Because we've all thought of that. Who's my favorite? This, who's this? What he thinks about that, and everything. And I thank you for your time because I really, got a lot of insight on how you look at music. You've influenced the industry, and it means a lot. It means a lot to a lot of people. And I want to thank you for everyone who you've influenced, who you calmed at night. We appreciate that. We haven't forgotten it, and we appreciate it. And we are watching to see what you're getting ready to do, to see what you're doing next, and what you're getting ready to do.
Well, Kenny, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. And it's always a pleasure to know that you can leave something for people that they really admire and want to continue to follow to see what you're going to do next. I am humbled. I feel blessed and thankful to be in that position. And I come from a position of humbleness in everything that I do. And I'm looking forward to the next chapter. Remember, in the eye of the storm, the quiet storm, peace be still, will be coming out, but not until later because it's still being written.
Too early for that. It's too early in the day for that. Now, you know that. See, your voice went all fluttery.
Oh, man. But see, I didn't do it on purpose.
Light outside for that.
I didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, you did.
Oh my God.
Player, come on now. Huh? Come on. Anyway, I appreciate you.
Thanks, Kenny. I appreciate
I
you.
look forward to us talking again.
Mm-hmm. We will.
We can talk about some other genres that I like. I love country music too. That's all.
Oh, okay.
My favorite country artist is Roy Clark. Okay.
Oh, so you're going all the way back. You talking about some Roy Clark.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a whole different show.
Yeah, I know. Take it easy.
All right, Kenny. Thank you so much once again for having me.
All right. Thank you. You take care now.
All right, you too. Be good now.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye now.